Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. I hope you guys can hear me. I probably sound muffled and stopped up. I'll tell you about it on the ride to the job. I'm a little tired because I didn't get in. I went to the ER last night around 7:30. I probably should have went earlier than that, but I kept going back and forth in my head about going. I will say that I'm glad that I went because I did get some relief. I did. However, my ear is still tight and full. My ear is still tight. It's still full. It's still okay, so let me tell you. I went out when I got off the video yesterday after talking to you all. My ear was just throbbing, just constantly throbbing on the inside. I mean, just constantly. All up around my earlobe I was just in pain. All down in my neck, in my jaw area, throbbing, off and on. So I took some Aleve. I took Aleve every 4 hours yesterday, and nothing was helping the pain. Nothing. It would come, it would go. It would come, it would go. You know, nothing was helping. I was in so much discomfort that he ought to get a ticket for he's blocking people's view with this truck. I was in so much discomfort. I couldn't get any relief. So I was gonna come on live yesterday, but I just couldn't. I was just in pain. So I went home. Well, I went to my mom's house. My mother made cheeseburgers and french fries. And I was trying to eat. I was trying to eat the cheeseburger. And every time I chewed, it was just hurting. Throbbing. And my ear just had this constant, like I could feel like there was like a heartbeat in my ear. It was just pound, all day long. And it just kept getting worse and worse. It's still hurting. It is still hurting, but it's not as intense. Oh, I forgot my water. Damn. But it's not as intense as it was before. So I took Chris home. I dropped him off. And I said, I'm going to the ER. And I said, I already know my bill for the ER is probably, they came in and told me, they was like, you know, you have a $200 copay for the emergency room. Do you want to make a partial payment? I told the lady, she was laughing at me. I was like, no. And I said, and I know I owe $200 for being here the last time. And I owe $200 for the previous. She said, don't worry about it. You know, just get well. I said, oh, I'm good. You know, I'm not gonna worry about it. I said, because it is what it is, you know. So she was asking me, did I want to pay the $200 last night for coming in last night? And I was like, no. So she's like, we'll just bill you. I said, okay. She said, we just have to come and ask. So I was debating about going back to the ER because, number one, I knew I was going to have to pay $200. Two, because the last time I was there, they didn't do nothing. You know, they ain't really, she didn't, the physician, she didn't do anything. So I was like, do I really want to go back and spend another $200 for them not to do nothing, for them to just tell me, oh, it looks better, you know what I mean? So I went in and they took me, they had a lot of people in the waiting room, but they took me right away. So I went in and I told the lady, I said, I am in a lot of pain. And I said, this has been going on for a month. And I said, I don't know what this is. So she said, so the triage nurse called me to the back. I explained to her what was going on. I told her, I don't want to get no $100 ticket. I told her what was going on. I told her what was going on with what had been going on. And so they had a physician, somebody, now they have it where you can do have a virtual doctor talk to you. So they had a virtual doctor come up on the screen. So she was asking me different questions and everything was no, 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 no. So then she ordered for me to have some labs drawn and to get a strep throat culture because they wanted to see if I had strep throat. I know I've had strep throat a zillion times, and I knew that I didn't have strep throat. But then again, I don't know how viruses, infections go. It could have been some kind of bacteria somewhere, you know what I mean? So they ordered, so I went to the next room. She took 3 small little vials of blood, and she gave me a throat culture, which I hated because it makes you feel like you're going to throw up. So she gave me the throat culture. So I had the throat culture, and she told me to go back and wait in the waiting area. Another nurse, she was real nice. They all over at Trinity Hospital here in Chicago. They are very, very nice. That's where I had my son. That's the hospital that we go to when anything is going on with us. And it's very close to my house, like 10 minutes, if less. So, so she told me to go wait in the waiting area. Then they called me to the back. So they called me to the back, and my arm is sore because I had to give the blood, and then I had to get an IV in my arm. So she said that we're going to give you some medication called Toradol. And she said it's like a leaf, but it's way up there in dosage. She said it's a very, powerful drug, a potent drug, and it should relieve some of that pressure in your ear from you constantly having the ear pain. She said, but it's gonna sting and burn for like 30 to 40 minutes. I'm like, what? So she said, yeah, it's gonna sting, it's gonna burn. She said, so I just want you to know that. I was like, okay. And so she says, but I'm gonna give you an IV because we're ordering you a CT scan because we want to see, has the infection traveled somewhere in your jawline? We just need to look at we want to look at your head. That's basically what she was saying. It hurt right now, right in here. So I said, okay. And she said that we're going to give you a contrast to put in your IV. And that contrast, the contrast is like, it's a dye. And she said, we're going to put the contrast in, which is a dye, and then we'll be able to, that's how we're going to be able to do the scan. I said, okay. So once I found out, when the nurse came in and found out, so I had a nurse practitioner. So let me rewind. So the nurse practitioner, very nice also. She comes in, she looks in my ear. She looked in this ear, the left ear. She said, oh, this one is clear. She looks in this ear. She says, it's a little red. She said, but there's no pus, no fluid. So I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, it's clear. She said, it is red. She said, but it's not inflaming red, like an ear infection. She said, I know what an ear infection looks like. She said, it's not that. She said, but yeah, it's a look. She says red, a little red. I said, well, why does it feel so heavy and tight? She said, that's why I'm going to give you a CT scan, because I want to look to see is something else going on somewhere else. I said, okay. So she said, the ear infection has cleared up. She said, why you keep having this heaviness and this? Because my head felt like a watermelon. It felt huge. My ears felt big. You know what I'm saying? So I asked her, I said, is this earlobe bigger than this earlobe? I said, because my family keeps saying I'm tripping. And she was laughing. So she felt them. She said, no. It's not swollen. It's not, sweetie. It's not swollen. I get you to fight, bitch. I told her, I said, I said, I'm at the point now. I said, I'm paranoid, you know. And so she was like, she said, I get it. She said, you've been dealing with this for over a month, close to a month. She said, I would be paranoid too. She said, I'm sure, you know, this has driven you crazy. I said, it has. I said, and it's starting to. And I'm starting to worry, and I don't want to worry. And I said, but this ain't right. So I never did ask her about the gout, having gout in your ear. I forgot to ask her that, but I'll see my doctor today and I'll ask her. I already got a list of shit that's wrong with me that I want to talk to my doctor about. I made a list. So, and I have it in my phone. She says, but your ear is clear. She said, the infection is gone. Why are you still having this heaviness and this pain? She said, that's the mystery. Because the pain is all back here. It's all one side. It's in my neck, the side of my face, the jaw area. And it's causing all of this over here to it's just aching. Now, it's not pounding now because they gave me a high dose of Tylenol, and they administered some medicine through my arm, because she had told me that the medicine that they were going to give me through my arm was going to burn, but I didn't feel it because they wanted me to have this CT scan. So the IV that they put in, when they were able to put two things in at the same time, so I didn't even feel that. So immediately I started to feel better. However, I was able to sleep really good. I was able to sleep really good. Last night was the first night that I was able to sleep. I mean, I didn't wake up in pain. I had slept straight through, is what I'm saying. And that hasn't been happening. I mean, I've been up, I'm twisting and turning because I'm in pain and I can't sleep because of this constant throbbing. So they gave me the Tylenol and they gave me the Tortitol. Then they came to get me, to take me, with the nurse practitioner, she came and got me and walked me over to have a CT scan. So here's the funny thing. So I get in there and the guys, I said, this contrast of this dye that you all are going to put in me to do the CT, I said, what does it make you feel like? Now, the nurse practitioner already told me, she said, it's going to make you warm. It's going to give you a warm feeling, and it's going to make you feel like you're urinating on yourself, but you're not. I said, oh, okay. And she said, it might give you like a funny taste in your mouth. That's why I got my freaking water. She did tell me that my kidneys were a little abnormal. She said, and that might be because you need to drink a little bit more water. And I told her that I was doing this water challenge, and I was drinking 2 bottles of water a day. And she was like, you probably need to increase it a little bit. She said, because you need more water. But then I told her that I was on this other medication that I'm supposed to take every day, that I don't always take every day. And I told her that it does over time do something to it can do something to your kidneys. So she looked it up. She's like, you're right. And she said, but I don't think that, she said, you ain't at that point. She said, it's just, I feel like you know, what I'm looking at through the IV or the lab, she said, or not the IV, she said, but from the labs that came back, she said it just seemed like you got low kidney function, like you're not producing enough, you're not getting enough fluids, you're not drinking enough water. So I said, okay. So she said, just increase your water intake. She said, if you're drinking 2 bottles a day, you might need to drink 4. I was like, all right. I said, I'm not a water drinker. She said, I get it. She said, but try to try to drink a little bit more water. She said, so if you drink the 2 bottles of water throughout the day when you're at work, she said, when you come home in the evening, you need to drink 2 more bottles of water. She said, because that give you 8, and that'll be good. She said, you're not drinking enough water. I said, all right. So I was telling her about my water challenge. She was like, that's good. And I was telling her how some of you all had jumped on a bandwagon and everything like that. You know, I'm a talker. I can talk to anybody. And she was like, that's a good thing. She's like, I need to jump on that bandwagon. She said, because I'm a nurse practitioner. And she said, and I don't drink enough water as I should as well. She said, water. What is you doing right here? Girl. She said, water is important. It's important that you get enough, water, enough intake of water. So I told her, okay, so I'm going to increase the water and start drinking 2 during the day and try to drink 2 in the evening. Well, not try, but do, But she was like, yeah, you need to drink. She said, you really need to drink more water. So they take me back to do the CT. And so the guy says to me, I start asking him questions, and I said, has anybody thrown up taking this contrast? And the reason why I asked him was because my uncle had to do us recently. The one I told you all that they don't, and I'm going to tell you all about that in a minute, but to remember to you all, he had this growth. So he had to recently take a CT scan and a CAT scan. And he told me that it made him feel like he wanted to puke. And he said, It was a real uncomfortable feeling. Now, I've had CT scans, I've had MRIs, I've had all of that. I've never had any, well, maybe I have had some dye administered before. I can't remember. But anyway, so the guy's like, yeah, he was looking at me funny. He was like, yeah, we've had people throw up in here. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this. And so he starts laughing. He's like, but everybody's body is different though. He was like, you may not have nothing, no type of reaction at all. And he said the only thing that you might have later, tomorrow, which is the truth, he said your mouth might be a little dry, like cotton mouth. He said, so drink a lot of water. He said, and it'll flush itself out. You'll urinate it out. He said your urine might be a little darker, which it was. He said, and some people, after they have this contrast, they really have to pee or poop. And he said, everybody is different. He said, we haven't had that many people in here that's had this contrast that throw up. He said it is a very, very, very low percentage of people. So this is what the technician told me. He said it's a very, very low percentage of people who do throw up. She said, not saying that it hasn't happened. She said, like he said, it has. She said, but it's very, very low. She said, but you're going to be fine. She said, I'm going to do it real quick. I'm going to let you know when I'm giving you the medicine through your IV. So they hooked me up to this machine. They have you lay down and put your head in like this little box, and then they scoot you through the machine. And then they do the test. So she took some pictures, and I'm telling y'all, I was praying. I was praying. I was calling on the name of Jesus. I was praying because I was nervous, about that medicine. And so then she comes back in and she says, okay, I'm going to give you the medicine. I'm like, oh boy. So I could see the IV. She said, don't move. Tilt your head up and turn your head this way. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. And she said, okay. She said, now it's the medicine. Now it's the medicine time. Because they took like 6 pictures before they gave me the medicine. So I'm like, okay. And she said, I'm going to give it to you right now. She said, but if you start to feel nauseated, sick, or something like that, she's like, just wave your hand or something. And she's going to ask me, do you want us to strap your hands down? No. She said, you'll be able to keep your hands by your side going into the machine. Yes. Strap me down. Girl, no. And I did. She said, don't move. I didn't move. She told me to lay still. I lay still. She told me, to put my hands to my side. I did. I was like, girl, you ain't finna strap me down to nothing. And I did exactly what they told me to do. And so she gave me the medicine. I was still calling on Jesus. I was still praying because I didn't know what it was going to make me feel like, And so I felt nothing. And the only thing I did feel that's kind of like this little sensation of me urinating. Just a little. But I didn't have no funny taste in my mouth. They told me that I was going to get warm, that I was going to get hot, that I was going to get, I didn't have that. I didn't feel that. So then they took the pictures and stuff, and I was looking at the thing, go back and forth. It's like this little thing that goes across your face. And then she came back, she had me turn my head the other way. And it was quick. So she came back, they came in, they said, okay, Miss Cotton, you done. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I was like, Lord Jesus, I do not want to puke in this room. I do not. She said, you're done. I said, okay. She said, it wasn't that bad, was it? I said, no, it wasn't. She said, how you feeling? You feel nauseated? You feel this, you feel that, you feel lightheaded, you feel. And I said, well, I feel a little lightheaded because of this pressure. I said, I feel a little woozy, just a little bit. I said, but no, I feel fine. I said, I didn't even really get the warm sensation or the funny taste in my mouth. And see, that's what I was concerned about, that funny taste. Because, you know, you have a funny taste in your mouth, and that can make you vomit. But I said, I didn't get that. I said, now I did feel kind of like a little sensation of me feeling like I was going to urinate. She said, yeah. She said, that's common. She said, some people feel it, you know, really, really feel it. And she said, and some people don't. And she said, everybody is, she said, that's why I was telling you. She said, but it's a very, very, very low case of people that come in here and actually get sick. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, that's good to know. And so I went on and had that. Then they took, so she said, it's going to be about an hour or less or more for us to give you the test results. She said, so you got to wait for the test results. No, I don't. So I went back out there and I told the nurse practitioner, I said, listen, I got to go to work tomorrow. I said, she said, I can give you a doctor's note for you to stay home. I said, that's fine. I said, but you ain't going to give me no note to tell them to pay me either. I said, girl, I got to go to work. I don't have no days, no sick days right now. I said, I got to go to work. She was cracking up. She said, yeah, Miss Cotton, I can't do nothing about that. I said, I know you can't. So can I go home? I said, I'm going to see my primary care physician tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And I said, I have the Live Well app. I can go on and look at my test results. And she gonna see them anyway. I said, so I need to go. I like the little girl. I'm finna go home. I was so serious. She was like, okay, you can go home. She's like, if you want to go home, you can. She said, but if we see something on this CT scan that don't look right, we're going to call you. Well, they never called. So that was a good sign. Let me go punch. I'll be back. friend said, you went to the ER again? Don't they be charging? You should have went to the ER. Bitch. I almost called her. What the fuck you talking about? Listen here, I don't give a fuck how much nothing costs. Bill me later. I want some motherfucking relief. When you sick and you don't feel good, you don't give a fuck about you don't give a fuck about no payment. You sick. I bet this motherfucker took my parking space. Big ass. I'm gonna fuck him up. I knew he was gonna take my parking space. Who ain't parked right here? What is he to here today? What time is it? It's 6:12. What is he here? I'm gonna park here. I'm gonna go in here and ask him, is he here? He loved parking down there. He never thought about parking there. I'll be back, y'all. Let me go in here and see if he not here. I get so tired of these people with these damn parking spaces. Damn shame. You gotta go find somebody. I went to the cage where they were. I said, is Pierce here today? He's like, no, he off today. He's like, he not here by 6. He not here by 6 o'clock. He usually, that usually mean he off. You know, you gotta go through all of these fucking changes so you can park. Last time I parked here, I was going in to ask them that, and when I get halfway down the hallway, he's calling me, CC, and he was here to I'm sorry, baby, I went to get me some coffee. You know, because back in the day, they used to have assigned parking spaces. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, you know, people got to go make sure you ain't here and all of this old stupid shit. Because he starts at 6 in the morning too. So I just went to ask because I'm like, I'm not moving. So I just, anyway, it's too much that you got to go through for a parking space up around here. This guy, this is his assigned parking space. That guy, that's his assigned parking space. This spot is Pierce's assigned parking space. Then you got another foreman who would put something up so he can have a parking space. Too much. And then people say, why you get here so early? That's why. I ain't fighting with people over no parking space. And then this guy, he my friend, he cool, but you was not never parking down there. You saw me parking there, now you park your big ass truck down there. I'm like, he purposely now get here around the same time I get here so he can get that spot. So that's why I got to get here at the crack of fucking dawn just to be able to park down here. Because down here, the reason why I don't like parking down here is that if it rains, you can't park there because the sewer system in here, it floods. So it's always muddy down here. That's why I don't like to park down there. Y'all, I'm exhausted. And I was going to come on live yesterday, but I couldn't because I couldn't focus. I couldn't concentrate. This has been the worst experience. This has been the worst experience. I usually I usually bounce back from stuff. This has been the worst. The worst. And I'm just tired of this. Did I say I'm tired of this? Ain't y'all tired of me talking about it? Because I'm tired of telling y'all about it. Whew. I'm tired of telling y'all about it. I'm just tired. Whew. Y'all, I just don't even. I wish I could have stayed home. But I couldn't. So I'm gonna make it do what it do. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna get through it some kind of way. I'm tired of paying. I like I said, she talking about, I went to the ER. When you in pain, you just say, hey. Something she was talking about, you should have made an appointment with the ENT doctor and then went to the ER. What? Girl, that makes no sense. I will take my ass to the ER in a minute. I don't give a damn. And Christopher be sick. He real sick. We going to the ER. I have called and talked to nurse practitioners over the phone about this. I have done everything. It's not like I haven't done nothing. I mean, I have done everything. Everything to get to you know. I have done everything. And y'all know I have. As soon as I started to have pain in my ear when I knew that it was an ear infection, I went the very next day to urgent care. I did not wait. I've been to urgent care twice. I've been to the ER. This is the third time I've been to the ER. No, this really is because I had to leave and go back. So yeah, it's the third time, but they only billed me, well, I guess they billed me for whatever. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I know it's expensive to go to the ER. I know. But you cannot play around with your health. You cannot. It never used to be this. The deductible to go to the ER has never been this high. But I am not going to suffer or have my child suffer in pain because I don't want to pay for an ER visit. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what I'm also not going to do. I'm not going to live nowhere and be freezing because I don't want to turn my heat on and have us freezing in the house. I'm not going to be hot as hell, hot as hell in the house because I don't want to pay my utilities, my electric bill. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm not doing that. That is no way to live. I work every day. If I can't afford it, I'll make a way. I'll make a way. Just like I was on the phone with the cable people yesterday. I told them, I said, I'm going to do my best to pay this bill. I said, but hey, if y'all got to cut it off, y'all going to have to cut it off. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Life, you cannot cut corners when it comes to certain things. And when you are in excruciating pain, you cannot say, oh, I'm not going to go to the ER because it costs $200. When you in pain, you don't give a damn if it costs $1,000. You'll figure out a way to pay it when it's time to pay it. But ain't nobody finna sit up and just be in constant pain. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do that. I'll be glad when the day is over already. My other friend. But I'm just gonna be honest with you all. I'm not gonna do that. I'll figure out a way to pay it. I will figure out how to pay that $200. And when it's time to pay it, I have to pay, pay it off or whatever. But it doesn't, you're not doing yourself, you're not helping yourself by sitting there rocking in pain. One thing I cannot stand, I don't have a high tolerance for pain. Number one, I know that about me. That's why I never wanted a bunch of kids, because I'm not that woman that have babies easily or want to be in labor and go. The one thing that I fear the most about getting old is about being sick and being poked and constantly being poked and suffering. I don't have no issue with dying. I have the issue with suffering. The suffering, I cannot, and have asked God, I have prayed to God and asked God to please not let me suffer, but to take me on home to glory when it's my time. Seriously, I do not want to suffer. So I'm not going to suffer in pain. I'm not going to not go to the ER when I'm not feeling good. If Chris is really sick, we going to get you some help. We're going to get you some help. I'm not going to be walking around to my, well, it's $200 to go. Fuck that. We going. Put your stuff on. Let's go. When I can't take something, when I can't take it, I can't. When I had that, when I had that ear infection right after my father died, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it no more. I could not take it. When you are in pain will drive you crazy. Pain will drive you crazy. It will. I can't do pain. I just can't do it. I know it's some people who, you can't cut corners on everything. You just can't. But I'm not finna sit there and suffer. I'm not gonna suffer because I don't want to pay something. That's why you have insurance. Seriously. You can't keep saying, oh, you know what? I ain't going. Oh, I ain't going. I ain't going. Because I don't want to pay. You can't do that. I tell anybody, if you are in pain, go to the ER. There used to be a time you didn't have to pay those kind of co-pays. Well, if you can pay $200 on a Gucci belt and a Gucci purse, you can pay $200 when it comes to your health. Seriously. Don't sit there and be talking about what you ain't going to pay and you in pain. That's why, and I'm saying this to myself, as I say it to you, that's why you got to have money saved because of stuff like this. And when you got money, you don't have that worry of, oh, I'm not going to go because I can't afford it. And I know, most Americans most of us are struggling. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to sit here and act like, you know, I'm a rich woman, because I'm not. Because you see where I'm at a job, and you see where I come every day to a job. So I'm not sitting here trying to, I found this tomorrow in Burlington. It was, how much was this? It was $3.99, $4. It's the Real Techniques sponge, and you also get a case to put this in. So I'm gonna use this when I go on my trip. That way I'll have the case. I like the fact that they give you the little case with this. It goes like, how does it go? Let's see. Oh, here it goes. See that? It snaps right in there. So again, you don't have to worry about getting this all on everything. Just like the little case for, what did I do with it? What did I do with it? I just had it. Forever losing stuff right in this car. Oh, here it is. Just like you get the little case for the sponge. Real Techniques. I like that they give you that. So I saw that in Burlington, and I said I'm gonna get it because I know if I buy it in Ulta Beauty, it's gonna cost more. But you know, you can't. You got to take care of your health. If you in pain, you got to go check. You got to go. You just got to go. And like I said, I'm not trying to act like I'm some rich woman or, you know, like I can afford to go to the ER myself. I can't, but I'm not going to suffer either. You know, I'm just not going to do that. That I'm not going to do. Because that makes no sense. I'm not going to suffer. I can't do that. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. And it's a shame that you gotta pay that much to go to the ER to get treated. And that's why people die, because they don't wanna go, because they know that the expense is going to be a lot. You know what I'm saying? They don't wanna go. But you just have to bite the bullet. and go. Unfortunately, gotta make a way. I can't worry about it. You know what I mean? I just cannot worry about things that I cannot change. And I'm not trying to sit up here and act like this is easy. It's not. But I'm not gonna suffer. So whatever the bill is what it is. And to know that I still, you know, even though she gave me that medicine, I still feel a heaviness, you know. She was like, you can take some leave tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna wait till about 9 o'clock. But I'm gonna tell you what that medicine did do. That whatever she put in there, it stopped my foot from hurting. It helped that. So whew. It's definitely I believe it's a sinus issue. So yeah, I'm just gonna tell you that. And like I said, I ain't rich and I ain't got it. You know, I've done poorly over the years with managing my finances, and that's okay. I'm still gonna be okay because I got this last payment of this vet billing, and I will be done paying it. And I am going to start saving for Christopher's prom and tux and limo and all of this stuff and other graduation fees. I'm gonna start saving. I am. Oh shoot, I used the wrong thing. This wasn't the brush I was supposed to use. Oh Lord have mercy. I used the wrong brush. Y'all can tell I ain't with it. I am not with it this morning. I ain't with it. I used a lot of this. I'm trying to see how much more do I have in here. We'll need another powder in a minute. How much is in here? Kind of a bit. It's gonna be time to buy this again. I really like this translucent powder. Warm honey. I like this by Juvia's Place. So yeah, I'm a little exhausted. I doubt very seriously, you all, just being honest, I doubt very seriously if I come on and do a live today. I have a doctor's appointment at 5 o'clock, so I doubt it. I did buy these too, also for our trip. These toothbrush protectors. I bought these to put our toothbrushes in when we go on the trip instead of putting it in. I'll have like a little case, but I'm gonna put these on here. So I put them on our toothbrushes. So, you know, we won't have all, you know, germs and things of that nature. They have the essential oil and scented pad. So yeah. I told my mother that I would give her one. And these were $5.99. So what is this? It say essential oil. Let's see. Trying to open it up. Oh, okay. So it's got a little scent. Oh, okay. Essential oil scented pad. It's like a menthol smell. Okay. So I give this one to Chris. Okay. What is this one? This one is scented too. So I guess they all scented. Let's see what this one smells like. Well, this also got a menthol smell. Ooh, strong. That's pretty cool. See how it opens up? You put your toothbrush right in there. And so this part right here, you want to make sure that you put your you want to make sure you put the brush part in this way, because you got a little hole right here. That little hole is going to be where the other part, the handle part of your toothbrush hangs. So yeah, I saw these and I was like, I need these for the trip. I pretty much have everything that I need for the trip as far as toiletries are concerned. So yeah, I'm pretty good on that. And these were, you got 4 of these for $5.49. So if you're traveling or you want to use these, you know, at home to make sure that your toothbrush, you know, it's imperative that you see my toothbrush and Chris' toothbrush. I have a toothbrush holder where I put my toothbrush and a plastic lid over it, and it's up in the cabinet. Because little do we know that when you have your toothbrush uncovered and you use the bathroom, particles go everywhere. And so when you get ready to brush your teeth, you're putting that bacteria or them germs from the bathroom in your mouth, and it will make you sick. So if you don't have something where you put your toothbrushes in a toothbrush cover, you can always get these. And like I said, these were at Burlington for $5.49. So I spent, what, $10 on that. And, you know, but I swear by these. Whenever I travel, I either have a toothbrush case to close my toothbrush in, or one of these. So yeah, I'm gonna give my mom, I'm gonna give her one. I asked her, I called her yesterday, I said, you need one of these? And she said, I sure do. And this is really, like I said, this is nice for traveling. Really nice. Because you don't have to worry about, you know, your makeup, this being all over everything else once you put your concealer on or you blend your makeup. I like the fact that they give you a case with these. Real Technique got it going on. They do. And this was $3.99. But if you go to TJ Maxx, it might cost the same. But if you go into Ulta Beauty and buy this with this case, you're going to spend $7. Because that's how much I spent for that case. So save yourself some coins, girl. Go to Burlington. And you'll find it over in the beauty, like, sponge department. Or when you're getting ready to punch out, they have them up there by the register as well. So either or. But I like those sponges by Real Technique. I really do. I got all kinds of pains. All kinds of pains, child. So you all, I'm gonna let you all go. But I know I didn't have a subject to talk to you all about, and I apologize. Other than telling you all about my ear. And you know, I know you all are sick of hearing about it, because I'm sick of telling you about it. I really, really am. No shade, but I'm tired of talking about it. I am. I'm tired of talking about it. I have talked about it enough, and I am slightly tired of talking about it. Not slightly, but is. And I am so sorry that I have worn you all out with it as well. Now, where in the hell is that other brush at? Oh, here we go. Okay. I try to keep all my brushes together. And I can't find my other lipstick. I need to get my life together. I need to get my life together. My mother texted me. I don't know what she's saying. I think she's saying why I didn't let her know I made it home. Lady, you was asleep. I already had texted her, let her know what was going on, you know, with the doctor, but lady, you was asleep. It makes sense to let you know I was at home. She has me tracked. She tracks me, so, you know, we do that for safety reasons. I don't know what my mama's talking about. Let me go see what she's talking about. I won't be back on here. I won't be back today on live. But what I will do, I'll try to come back on here on live tomorrow and talk to you guys and see how you all are doing. Oh, I got a little piece of candy. But I will be back. This purse so damn junky. Oh, here go my lipstick. I mean, junky. I cleaned out 3 or 4 times. I also found this at Burlington too. This is the cocoa butter lip balm and swivel set. I bought this a while ago. It's been down in my purse. I refuse to give Christopher this right now because I think he'll lose it. And it was $4.99 at TJ Maxx. So you get the lip balm. What is this? The cocoa butter lip balm. And then the cocoa butter formula with vitamin E, soft and smooth silver stick that moisturize your lips. I thought that was pretty good for 2 things for $4.99. I thought that was pretty good. But I ain't gonna give it to him now, or he'll lose it. But anyway, let me go see what my mama talking about. I'll be back on here tomorrow. Oh, today is Throwback Thursday. So if you have a throwback memory or a throwback picture, post it. Post it on my community page, on my YouTube page. Post your throwback picture. Or if you just want to post a recent picture of you, just post it, okay? All right. So I'm going to let you all go. I didn't intend to be on here as long as I have been. But you all have a great, blessed day. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you all Friday, tomorrow. It's Friday, tomorrow. So have a great day. Peace and blessings. And thank you all for all your love, support, and your prayers. I appreciate you all so very much. Okay. Bye.